Hey, have you ever stopped to think that the way we vote could actually shape how free we are to speak our minds? It's this hidden link, right? A connection that's super easy to miss, but it's exactly what we're going to dig into today.
When we picture threats to free speech, we usually think of something really dramatic, right? Like some new law drops overnight, or there's an outright ban. But the source material for this explainer starts from a totally different and honestly a much more interesting place. It's not about some mustache-twirling villain trying to shut everyone up.
So that's the big question, isn't it? If it's not some direct attack, what is the real threat? How does this vibrant culture of free expression just kind of wither away without anyone ever actually deciding to ban it? It's a puzzle. Okay, so the answer, it turns out, is way more subtle. It's not about some big, obvious act of censorship. Instead, it's all about the incentives that are baked right into the political systems we live under. And this is so important. It's not a story about good guys and bad guys. It's about what the system rewards. The real danger pops up when that system stops rewarding tolerance and instead starts rewarding caution, when it becomes smarter to just play it safe and keep your head down. And at the absolute core of this whole thing, it's our electoral systems. Think of them as just the rule book for the political game. But here's the crucial part. These rules do more than just pick a winner. They decide how safe that winner feels once they're in charge. And that feeling, well, that feeling changes everything.
All right, so to really see how this works, let's dive into a specific kind of system, one that a lot of us will definitely recognize. It's what people call winner-takes-all politics.
So in these first-past-the-post systems, elections are just incredibly high stakes. A party can actually win total control even if they got less than half the votes. And what that means is the winner basically gets to run the show with very few real checks on their power for years. Now just think about the kind of mindset that creates. If winning means you get everything and losing means you're completely out in the cold, politics stops being about ideas or governing. It becomes a brutal, desperate fight for sheer survival. And when you're in that survival mode, everything looks like a threat. A different opinion? That's not just dissent, that's dangerous. A bit of criticism? That's not helpful feedback, it's an attack. And pretty soon people everywhere, not just politicians, start asking themselves a different question. They stop asking, is this legal to say? And start asking, is it worth the risk to say this? And that right there is how free speech starts to shrink without a single new law being passed.
Okay, so let's flip the script. Let's look at a totally different model, one that creates what our source calls the politics of negotiation.
This is what you tend to get with systems that use proportional representation. See, instead of one clear winner, these elections usually lead to coalition governments. That means different parties have to team up and share power. It completely changes the game because those crazy all-or-nothing stakes just aren't there anymore.
And this is the key insight. You can't just treat your rivals like enemies you have to crush because, hey, you might need them to be a partner in government next week. All of a sudden, disagreement isn't sabotage. It's just a normal part of doing business.
So let's just put these two side by side for a second. On one hand, you've got the winner-takes-all system, where power feels absolute and existential. Dissent looks like a threat, and the main goal is just survival. But then you have the proportional system, where power is shared and everyone knows it's temporary. Dissent is just normal, and the core incentive? It's all about negotiation and compromise. Two totally different worlds.
Okay, so we've got these two very different political systems. Now let's really connect the dots. Let's see exactly how this stuff shapes the culture of free speech.
It's like a chain reaction, really. You start with a winner-takes-all system. That creates this feeling of absolute, but also really insecure power. Because it feels so shaky, any kind of criticism feels incredibly dangerous. And the final link in the chain? It isn't an outright ban on speech, it's something quieter. Speech just gets managed. People get cautious.
And that brings us to the core idea here. The best possible environment for free speech isn't just about having good laws in the books. It's about creating a system where power knows it's temporary and where getting criticized is just a normal Tuesday. It's just part of the job.
Now look, this doesn't mean proportional representation is some kind of perfect system. No way. It has its own set of problems, for sure. These governments can be slow. I mean, really slow. Sometimes they're frustratingly indecisive because building those coalitions and making decisions can take forever.
But, and this is a fantastic twist, that so-called inefficiency can actually be a feature, not a bug. Think about it.
When it's harder for one person or party to just ram their ideas through, and it's easier for everyone to see when someone's making a power grab, well, that's often when liberty is safest.
Which brings us to our final, and maybe the most important takeaway. It's about the fact that real freedom can sometimes be a little bit inconvenient.
And here it is. This is really the heart of the matter. Free speech doesn't stick around just because it's a nice idea that we all believe in. It survives because the system itself makes it difficult, messy, and just plain inconvenient to abuse power and shut people up.
To put it another way, we can't just hope our leaders will be good people. The smartest systems are the ones that make tolerating criticism the most rational, logical, self-interested thing for a leader to do. So when we think about protecting free and open debate, maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. It's not just about the laws written down on a piece of paper. The real question we should be asking is much, much deeper. And it's this. What kind of systems actually encourage power to put up with being criticized? How do we build a political game where losing a round isn't the end of the world, where arguing is normal, and where everyone in charge knows their time is limited? That's not just a question about free speech, it's a question about the very design of our systems. And that is something really worth thinking about.